God wouldn't put a dream or a vision in your heart if it wasn't attainable. You can't rely on motivation because motivation comes and goes. You have to rely on determination. Sometimes you're gonna drop the ball, but it's important to just get back up. Our whole theme is elevating and becoming our best self. A big part of becoming your best self includes like walking with the Lord, letting Him refine your heart and just shape you into your best self. Welcome back to Level Up Lover Girl. I'm your host, Samantha. Today, guys, we are going to be talking about persevering. Perseverance has been something really big in my mind recently. I had a whole other video planned for today. It just wasn't working out. The Lord kept putting the word perseverance in my head. Like the act of perseverance, guys, is so important, especially when we're on like this journey of becoming. Just want to share 2 verses with you guys that have really helped me kind of like continue to persevere. And it's given me that determination and motivation that I do need. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." It literally says like, let us not grow weary in doing good things, so if you guys are doing good, positive things, like I think that's when the devil really tries to attack you and he tries to really set you off your course. Truth is, the devil doesn't bother people that he's not intimidated of or doesn't have like a big purpose or calling on their lives. So I think that if you guys are kind of growing a little weary or weak, or just kind of feel like giving up, like now is the time more than ever to not give up, guys. Like it's time to persevere. Even the Bible says like a righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets right back up, so I think that's like a constant theme in the Bible. It's like you're gonna fall sometimes you're gonna drop the ball, but it's important to just get back up, get back to doing what you're doing. Like even for me last week when I wasn't able to film, I really did beat myself up over it. I was doing so good with my consistency and everything, but then life just kind of got a lot, and it was all good things, like thank God. The fact that I had kind of messed up my schedule and I wasn't as consistent with it as I wanted to be, it almost made me feel like giving up. But even though I know that's not something that I was gonna do or I want to do, but just kind of that like feeling, that emotion of like, oh, like I already missed the date, like so what if I miss another one? Just like those like thoughts that come from the enemy. Like obviously this is something more of like that positive form of content. I don't consider myself to be a Christian influencer. I think Jesus is just such a big part of my life. It just naturally comes out. I do love the Lord, so I think like it is a really big part of my personality, my personal brand, and honestly like this YouTube channel, like our whole theme is elevating and becoming our best selves, obviously through like makeup, fashion, wellness. Also like a big part of becoming your best self includes like walking with the Lord, and like letting Him refine your heart, and just shape you into your best self, because at the end of the day we can't become everything that we're meant to be by ourselves. Like just tying back into the theme of not giving up, guys, don't give up on yourselves. Don't give up on whatever plan and vision that God has put in your heart. That God wouldn't put a dream or a vision in your heart if it wasn't attainable. When we have like a certain vision and a certain goal for ourselves, guys, I think it really does come directly from God, and even in the Bible it says like, like He will give you the desires of your heart. So it's like if you have a certain desire in your heart, I think it's definitely fair to say that it's very attainable with the Lord. Granted, like you have to be like walking in obedience, you have to be listening to what God is telling you to do. You just can't give up. Like I think that is the biggest thing, is it says, "For at a proper time you will reap your harvest." I think that's also such an important thing to pay attention to, is that it doesn't say like when you want it to happen, or like when you think that it's the proper time, but it says like for when it is the proper time you will reap the harvest. So that means like it's a promise, like it will happen. Like it's almost like the Israelites, like they were promised that promised land, and it took them a lot longer than what they expected, but at the end of the day, like God knew that He was going to give them that promise, and so they just had to keep going, as hard as it must have been. At one point, like they wanted to go back to Egypt where it was comfortable. Imagine if they had went back or they had just given up, they would have never received that promise and they would have never made it to the promised land. So I think like in the Bible there's just that constant theme of just resilience, and perseverance and not giving up. In order for us to attain that promise that the Lord has for us, guys, like we have to like build this certain muscle, you know, that comes only with persevering, that only comes with like falling and getting right back up. You know, you can't rely on motivation because motivation comes and goes, but you have to rely on determination. You know, you have to rely on that determination that you will get to where you want to go. You know, like you have to be determined to get to that promise that the Lord has given you. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to fall. That doesn't mean that you're not going to mess up. Just persevere, get back up, and continue going on. The more blessings comes more responsibility. He has to be able to almost trust us to know that we're not going to give up when he does give us even more in our hands to handle. The second verse is James 1:3-4. It says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work in you so that you may be mature and complete and not lacking in nothing." We have a real enemy. When you are like walking in the purpose that God has for you, you're going to have a bigger target on your back. If any of you guys are feeling discouraged recently or just feel like giving up, just remember, like, you know, no one can take your joy. The devil can't take your joy, because at the end of the day, like, the Lord is your joy, you know? So just consider it pure joy when you guys are dealing with any tests and trials, because that just means that you're heading in the right direction and you're so close to that harvest that the Lord wants to give you. Alrighty, my loves, that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate all of your support, guys. It really means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, comment. I would really, really appreciate it. I will see you guys on the next episode of Level Up Lover Girl. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.